Hey everyone, before we begin, I just got a couple of quick things to remind my viewers in the US. This year, September is the last month to make sure that your household has filled out the US Census. I know that it sounds like a boring, stupid thing, but it just takes a few minutes to fill out online, and it's really important that you do it, because it only happens once every decade, and again, it's very necessary for our government to work. Speaking of which, make sure that you're registered to vote now, because if you wait too long, it might be too late depending on where you live. Part of living in the US is, participating in our representative democracy, so make sure that you do that. Otherwise, the whole system, it's kind of fucked. Or I guess more fucked than it already is. And in case you need guidance, I partnered with Rock the Vote to provide a URL in the description of this video, so check that out. Alright, if you paused this video and did all that, then we're ready to begin. Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at The Devil's Rejects, released in 2005. Continuing the story of the Firefly family, The Devil's Rejects is often regarded as Rob Zombie's best film, even earning a favorable review from Roger Ebert himself. Ebert cited the film's commitment to depravity, subversive sense of humor, and good acting from the talented cast. Which, yeah, I'll agree on all counts. The Devil's Rejects is very good at being what it wants to be, a disturbing, horrific horror movie. Whereas House of a Thousand Corpses was like a carnival ride, all flashy lights and loud noises, Zombie filmed The Devil's Rejects more like an American new wave western. Instead of a funhouse version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we get a Peckinpah film from hell. Filmed with approximately half the budget of Corpses, Devil's Rejects is much more realistic, much less erratic, and somehow even meaner, all in line with Bush-era trends that gave us horror movies like Hostel and Saw.
Within 6 months, there's going to be something much more atrocious that's come out of Iraq or somewhere else.
Providing this increase in terror are the Fireflies, of course, who are no longer merely scene-stealing antagonists. They now take center stage as they flee an angry sheriff seeking vengeance for his slain brother. Since The Devil's Rejects will almost certainly get rejected and age-restricted by YouTube, I got a sponsor to help me bring you this episode uncut. Manscaped provides you with all the tools you need to keep all parts of your body looking nice. Whether it's the Lawnmower 3.0, helping you trim body hair with ease, or the Shears 2.0 kit, keeping your finger and toenails tidy, Manscaped helps you keep from looking like you're on the run from law enforcement and laying low in desert motels. You can get 20% off your order and free shipping by visiting manscaped.com/deadmeat. That's 20% off and free shipping to the US, the UK, Australia, and Canada by going to manscaped.com/deadmeat. I'd like to make myself believe that we've got a lot of kills to count in this movie. Let's see if everything is as it seems and get to them. The movie begins in 1978, about 7 months after the first film. And since this is a Rob Zombie movie, we get a naked dead chick right off the fucking bat, being dragged through the woods by a hooded tiny firefly. He takes off his hood as he sees a bevy of police cars driving by on their way to the Firefly farm, ready to finally arrest these so-called Devil's Rejects. Since Universal wasn't about to be involved with this movie, their backlot, and thus the original Firefly house, was no longer available as a shooting location. Production turned to Sable Ranch, a widely used film set in Santa Clarita that sadly burned down in a 2016 wildfire. Thankfully, a lot of it has been rebuilt, and is now used for the legitimately funny mini-golf show, Holy Moly. By the way, in contrast to how Corpses didn't have any behind-the-scenes stuff available, The Devil's Rejects has a 2.5-hour-long making-of documentary called 30 Days in Hell, detailing the entire filming process day by friggin' day. I'll be pulling from it a lot for this episode. Inside their home, the Fireflies sleep less permanently than the 2 dead women we see in there. One of them, a naked corpse that Otis is presently snuggling with. Outside, the cops are led by Sheriff John Quincy Wydell, brother of the slain Deputy George Wydell, who was killed when Mother Firefly shot him through the neck, and who was played by the late Tom Tolles, not Larry Redgrave, as I erroneously said in the previous kill count. Larry Redgrave was his character's name in Zombies Halloween, and I made a mistake. I'm sorry. New Wydell announces his presence over a loudspeaker, sparking the Fireflies into action to arm up and deliver some Rob Zombie dialogue.
Oh, the fucking pigs are everywhere.
Tell me something I don't already fucking know.
Got to fucking do something.
No shit. Fuck. Shit. Fuck.
Where the fuck fuck is Tiny?
They put on some armor, and after a bunch of unnecessary freeze frames that are used a whole lot throughout the movie, the firefight between the Fireflies and the firing squad begins. Rob Zombie hates cliche action movie sequences, which I can respect, so he filmed this shootout more like Waco-style news footage. That's part of the reason the whole movie is shot on 16mm. The smaller cameras made it easier to get all these handheld shots. And to really bring the firefight to life, Pyrotechnic coordinator Frank L. Pope installed more than 175 squibs that blew up all over the house and cars. That's a lot of tiny explosives right there. During the shootout, one cop gets shot and killed, prompting Wydell to order a tear gas delivery. The cops enter the gas-filled house, only for the Fireflies to emerge fully armed. The family is able to shoot down another 3 cops inside, all in slow motion, as they stand there looking like the knights from Castle Crashers. The cops are eventually able to score 1 kill though, when they shoot the ironclad Rufus Jr., aka RJ Firefly, dead against the wall. In Corpses, RJ was played by Robert Allen Mukes, but for whatever reason, the character was recast, and is here played by Tyler Mane, who was Michael Myers in Zombies Halloween movies, and who was a 6'9" delight when I spoke to him in person at the Halloween 40 convention. His character RJ was decked out in homemade armor as a nod to Australian outlaw Ned Kelly. It was not the easiest thing to wear on set.
Here comes C-3PO.
Mama Firefly runs to her son's body as Otis and Baby leave through the back of the house, and despite an attempt at making a dramatic exit,
I'm sorry, Sheriff, but you ain't getting me.
Mother Firefly ends up being taken into custody. After a grindhouse-looking title card, we get opening credits replete with freeze frames and backed by the Allman Brothers Band's Midnight Rider. In addition to always having stellar casts, Rob Zombie films have some of my favorite soundtracks. Following an underground exit through sewer tunnels, Otis, Baby, and Baby's ass crack escape the coppers. The 3 of them also manage to get themselves a car when they kill a good Samaritan named Abbie, who goes to check on Baby, only to get stabbed in the back by Otis. Abbie was played by cult classic queen Mary WORONOV, who we saw briefly during her cameo in Chopping Mall. Although Abbie's death is a quick moment in the opening credits, it was a pain in the ass for them to shoot, between missed hits,
In the shoulder.
the blood not coming out at all, and the blood coming out too much and getting all over the camera. A news report shows Sheriff Wydell and his team picking apart the Firefly house, though I won't add any of the corpses they find to the kill count. They're sometimes in pieces, it's characters we never met, and also, you know, it doesn't matter. Officer Ray Dobson finds a picture of Captain Spaulding posing with a victim, which definitively ties the clown to the Firefly family malice. Baby calls Captain Spaulding, who's revealed to be her father, and he tells her to go with Otis to a pre-planned motel meeting location. With their mugshots all over TV, the Fireflies are gonna need some help from old friends, like Charlie Altamont, played by legend of the genre Ken Foree. We've seen him in The Dentist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre III, and another Rob Zombie jam, his Halloween remake, where Foree played Big Joe Grizzly. Charlie runs a bordello with some dope-ass employees. Cleavon, played by Michael Berryman, and sex worker Candy, played by E.G. Daly, who was not only Dottie in the perfect movie Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but also the voice of Tommy Pickles, which makes it a little weird to hear her say all this Rob Zombie dialogue.
All them farmers want is a quickie hand job and boom! $10! Back on their tractor, save the real fucking for the sheep.
Tommy, no! Spaulding gives Charlie a call, identifying himself as Cutter, and says that he's coming to hide at Chuck's place because shit has hit the fan. Fuck! Freeze frame! Frame slide! Desert! Otis and Baby reach the Kahiki Palms Motel and decide to get a room to hide out in while they wait for Spaulding to arrive. The only other people here are members of a traveling folk band, and man are their lives about to suck. The band, Banjo and Sullivan, consists of 2 married couples. Western and character actor Jeffrey Lewis plays Roy Sullivan, and his wife Gloria Sullivan is played by Priscilla Barnes, who will always be Terry Alden to me. Oh, and also the 3-nippled fortune teller from Mallrats. Adam Adam Banjo is played by Lou Temple, the rape escape guard in the director's cut of Zombies Halloween, and his wife Wendy Banjo is played by Kate Norby. She was Joan Holloway's roommate who fell in love with her, but who could blame her? The roadie is Jimmy, played by Brian Posehn, and his biggest dream is to be a rodeo clown, even though Roy thinks it's a dumb idea.
No, you're not clown material.
You know, you can never be supportive of anything I want to do.
Jimmy leaves to get some food as Roy hits up the ice machine, which is where Baby finds him and starts a flirting. Roy is more than receptive.
You gonna take me back to your room and play with me?
My wife's in that room.
But his mood takes a dive when Otis apprehends him with a gun. The Fireflies force him into the motel room and start screaming at Adam and Gloria. Otis then pulls Wendy out of the shower and holds her naked at gunpoint before throwing her on the bed. A knock at the door signals Jimmy's return, and Baby lets him in to an extremely confusing situation.
Roy, help!
And deadly. Wow, that was fucking brutal. And the way the band members react to it is heavy as hell. Gotta say, that is one standout disturbing moment. If only Spaulding could get to the motel and sort everything out. But he keeps running into problems like an empty tank of gas. He commandeers a new vehicle from a mom played by PJ Souls, who of course was Ms. Totally in Halloween and Ms. Redcap in Carrie. Spaulding don't give a damn about her filmography though, and after knocking her to the ground, proceeds to traumatize her young son for saying he doesn't like clowns.
Why? Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny? You best come up with an answer, because I'm gonna come back here and check on you and your mama. If you ain't got a reason why you hate clowns, I'm gonna kill your whole fucking family.
Station wagon powers, activate! The scene with Spaulding and the kid is one of my favorites, and I'm glad there's hilarious footage of Sid Haig with kid actor Jordan Del Spina.
What is this, a Three Stooges routine? He picks up one, drops two. Come on, what is it?
Although Haig did admit that he actually made the kid cry at one point. Oh, poor little guy. Baby and Otis mock their captives, threatening to kill them every other minute.
The next word that comes out of your mouth better be some brilliant fucking Mark Twain shit, because it's definitely getting chiseled on your tombstone.
Then Otis embarks on a very upsetting scene of sexual assault, so fair warning. It's pretty explicit, goes on for 2.5 minutes in the unrated version, and culminates in him raping her by means of forced oral sex. I high-key judge anyone who says that Otis Driftwood is some kind of badass, even though Bill Moseley does an amazing job portraying him and seems like a nice guy in real life.
I said to Rob during a break, I just said, you know, this is it's really bumming me out. And he looked at me and said, art is not safe.
Also worth noting that from what I could see, Priscilla Barnes had a fun time on set. So, you know, that's good. In the basement of the very quaint Rugsville Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Wydell prepares to question Mother Firefly, who, if you didn't notice, is now played by Leslie Easterbrook of Police Academy fame, rather than Karen Black, who played her in House of a Thousand Corpses. There was something about a rate dispute, but there wasn't any long-term acrimony, and Rob Zombie wished Karen Black well before she died of cancer in 2013. Wydell reads Mama's rap sheet while she licks her lips, and after he promises to find and kill the rest of her family, she taunts him by pulling out a picture of his dead brother. Wydell don't take kindly to that, and it'll take all of Officer Doofy's strength to stop the sheriff from his choky threats. You know, it feels like Leslie Easterbrook didn't get the memo about this movie's tone. Her acting seems more in line with Corpse's.
You found yourself into something you ain't never getting out of!
Otis takes Roy and Adam out on a trip to a dilapidated desert building. With a gun pointed at them, he describes his plan while sounding like a hellbilly Will Forte.
We're gonna go dig up some guns I buried out here a couple years ago.
Then what?
Well, there ain't no what. That's the end of the road.
With death all but certain, Adam takes an opportunity to grab a wooden post and knock Otis upside the head with it. It's great to see someone actually fighting back, and I love the realism of this fight scene, which was choreographed by stunt coordinator Kane friggin' HODDER, who of course played Jason Voorhees in Friday's 7 Through Space. HODDER created fights that felt desperate and crude, rather than over-choreographed.
And we did the entire fight scene, brutal fight scene, with not one punch thrown.
But as you'll see in this movie, and especially 3 from Hell, Rob Zombie always keeps the Fireflies looking strong and everyone else pretty incompetent. No offense to Adam, who's stopped by a knife in the leg before he's shot through the neck. Is that some CG blood? What the fuck? That's not very hellbilly, Rob. Otis begins beating Roy with his gun and then mocks Adam's dying words.
Fuck you! That's what they all say.
Fuck you!
He makes Roy pray for his life, only to tell him it's not gonna do any good because of who he is.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Otis kills Roy by beating him to death with a big branch, and after that, he murders Adam too, by pinning him down and going to town with that knife. At the motel, Wendy needs to use the bathroom, but Baby only lets her go after making her hit Gloria in the face. In the bathroom, Wendy freaks out and starts screaming for help from the window, and Gloria tries to take control by grabbing Baby's gun. Baby throws a knife into her chest though, and after Gloria takes it out, with more CG blood, she offers her rear end for Gloria to shoot, but the gun's not loaded, meaning Gloria doesn't get to land a butt shot. Wendy leaves the bathroom and slow motion runs out of the room, and while Baby chases after her, Gloria slumps to the floor dead. If only the Fireflies had never come and knocked on her door. Wendy ends up running right into Captain Spaulding's arms, who knocks her out with a headbutt as Baby approaches them to get freeze framed. Officer Dobson realizes that Captain Spaulding is named after a Groucho Marx character, so Sheriff Wydell brings in a movie critic named Marty Walker, who walks in with his stupid mustache and starts going off on tangents about actors and what roles they've played.
Skidoo, where Groucho played the part of God, directed by Otto Preminger, who happened to be Jewish, although he played a Nazi commandant in Stalag 17, directed by Billy Wilder. Otto Preminger also directed Exodus, and it's rumored...
Okay, we get it! Wait a minute. Stupid mustache? Filmographical rantings? Oh no, I'm a shitty Rob Zombie character! The only thing Marty does is reveal that all the Firefly aliases are taken from Groucho characters. Not sure why that matters. Baby and Spaulding put Wendy back inside the motel room and wait until evening, when Otis gets back wearing Lou Temple's face. He and Spaulding aren't on the best of terms and get into a little shouty match, but they know they've got to get out of there, so they leave overnight. In the morning, a woman from housekeeping discovers a couple of dead bodies in the bathroom, and Wendy, still alive, strung up on the door with her dead husband's face on her face. Wendy gets off the hook, but just makes scary noises and chases after the housekeeper in one of the dumbest scenes in all of these movies. Seriously, why does she keep running and not just take that face off her face? It's stupid as shit and only serves to get her killed, as she runs out into the road and is crushed by a semi-truck driving by, which never stopped for whatever other stupid reason. It's so frustrating when a movie makes its victims completely senseless. There was no realistic reason for Wendy to die there. Once again though, I think it's worth pointing out that Kate Norby looks like she had a very good time on set.
I totally forgot to wear sunscreen yesterday.
In fact, though the movie was grueling to make, both physically and emotionally, everyone seems to have enjoyed working with Rob Zombie. After all, Bill Moseley was even willing to shave his head for the role, since Rob Zombie hates bad wigs and wanted a high-quality lace wig that you could see Moseley's scalp through.
I don't know what we're shooting right now. I'm just still mourning the loss of my hair.
With the police at their wits' end, Sheriff Wydell meets with 2 Rough Riders, known as the Unholy Two, Rondo and Billy Ray Snapper. Rondo's played by Danny Trejo, of course, who was Michael Myers' almost friend in Zombies Halloween, while Billy Ray is played by Diamond Dallas Page, he of the Diamond Cutter, aka the Proto-RKO, as well as DDP Yoga. Wydell asks them to hunt down the Fireflies for him, using whatever methods they deem necessary. Wouldn't want to be a Firefly right now. Now we're in the road trip portion of the film, wherein these 3 heinous killers are made to be funny and relatable. It kinda rubs me the wrong way, coming after everything we've seen them do. I think it'd be more interesting to make us like them first, and then show us that they're monsters. Instead, we get it in reverse, and I honestly don't know how to feel about that. Because how are you supposed to dislike Sid Haig yelling that he wants some Tutti Frutti ice cream?
Tutti fucking fruity!
Tutti fucking fruity!
Shut up! Tutti fucking fruity!
The movie seems like it wants us to like these characters, and Zombie even says as much in 30 Days of Hell.
The real goal of what we're gonna do is make these shitty, horrible people lovable.
Wydell takes a trip to the Firefly farm where he hallucinates his dead brother sitting in a chair. He tells the dead deputy that he's trying to walk the line, but the ghost tells him to get violent and kill the Fireflies instead. Following these orders, Wydell heads to the police station and kills his captive Firefly by stabbing Mother in the stomach with a knife, practically gutting her off screen for a good long while before the camera pulls back to confirm what's happening. And she down! The Fireflies head to Charlie Altamont's Frontier Fun Town, which advertises the cleanest girls around. Conveniently, the Frontier Fun Town was also at Sable Ranch, which made things easier for production. Although the live animals they had around the Firefly house set did cause them problems sometimes.
100% Alabama ass kicking. Boy, it's too bad. Because Lee Marvin is a man with a plan.
I'd say worth it though, since it also gave us moments like this.
Woo, you like that shit, Marco.
The Frontier Fun Town is a happening place, and although Charlie at first threatens them with the help of his rugrat,
He said put your fucking hands up!
turns out he was just clowning around. They're welcome to get wet here in any way they want. Introductions and reintroductions are made.
Are you still an asshole?
And then everyone gets nose deep into a party montage as Joe Walsh shows them the Rocky Mountain Way. This goes on for a good long minute, all intercut with Sheriff Wydell doing a Dirty Harry bit as he fantasizes about vengeance against these brother killers. In the morning, Charlie and Cleavon go to buy some roosters, promising the poultry proprietor that they're not gonna fuck the birds, no matter how appealing he makes it sound.
If you want to have a good time and you need some pussy, you can cut that chicken's head off, stick your dick in that ass of that chicken, and that damn chicken will go crazy on your ass and go,
Are you saying that I would cut off a chicken's head, put my dick in it, fuck it, and go, ah?
On their way out, they're stopped by Wydell, who knows the Fireflies are with Charlie thanks to a call from Rondo. He threatens to kill Charlie if he doesn't help him capture them. Chuck, better say Roger. You're between a rock and a more hard place. That night, after a drinking and drug-filled hangout sesh with Spaulding, Charlie excuses himself to the restroom, kicking off another montage that shows how the Fireflies are currently lulled into a sense of comfort. That makes it easy for murderers like Rondo, who emerges and slits the throat of a sex worker named Casey. No good guys in these movies, sorry y'all. Rondo orders the baby out of the bathwater as Billy Ray Snapper interrupts Otis and Candy. When the latter pulls a gun out, he shoots her in the head, then laughs. She shouldn't have gotten mixed up with a guy like Otis. He's a loner, a rebel, and now he's through the window, leaving him captured as well. As for Spaulding, Wydell makes that apprehension himself.
I've been looking for you, clown.
The shooting and the beating commences, but Wydell doesn't want the Fireflies dead just yet. He hauls them off as Charlie watches what he hath wrought, and Wydell screams his little heart out as he recklessly drives the family back to their farm. He ties them up and talks about his family's lineage of vigilante justice, which is why he knows it's his destiny to destroy these forces of evil. He then starts a torture session, literally pinning crimes to the family members, and the whole purpose of this is to show that he's become a monster just like them, even though, like, not really, you know? Sorry, Rob, you're not gonna make me feel bad for these fucks. Wydell's torture includes zapping and beating the boys with a cattle prod and bragging to Baby about how he murdered her mother. He nails Otis's hands into the armrests of a chair and then lets Baby run free before he pours gasoline all over and starts a fire with a Zippo. As the house begins to burn, Wydell goes outside and grabs an axe to hunt Baby with. The hunter has become the hunted.
It smells like rabbit!
Run, Rabbit, run! She runs into the arms of Charlie Altamont, who's here because he feels bad for selling them all out. He puts Baby in a car and leaves to rescue Otis and Spaulding, but he gets hacked in the shoulder by Wydell, giving us some more weird CG blood as he collapses to the ground. Wydell then kills him with an extra swing of the axe. They did use a practical blood rig for Charlie's death, but I think they added digital enhancements in post. As much as I dislike the CG blood in this movie, Zombie says it was necessary to save time, since production was already on a tight schedule, and as we saw with Abbie's kill, practical effects can often cause major delays. Wydell chases after Baby and shoots her in the leg, then beats her with a whip before they recite Rob Zombie's favorite dialogue exchange.
Fuck you!
These Shakespearean lines are interrupted though when Tiny Firefly appears out of nowhere and saves his sister by taking Wydell off of her. He kills him with a loud crunching snap of the neck, and just like that, the Fireflies are safe again. Tiny was obviously played by Matthew McGrory again, whose transformation into the character involved 4 pre-painted appliances that took 3 hours to glue to his face. The man was so large that costume designer Yasmin Abraham had to spend $500 for a pair of overalls that would fit him. And it's kind of a shame that he didn't have any lines in the movie, because his voice is incredible. He sounds like someone in a true crime show who's speaking under witness protection.
I'm sure I can pick up a lot of ladies like this. Thanks for supporting the movies, and hope you enjoy.
Tiny saves Otis and Spaulding from the burning house with a little bit of digital blood and a whole lot of practical blood that came from an excellent prosthetic arm made by returning makeup artist Wayne Toff. The giant leads them outside to safety, where these heinous characters have a love huddle, happy to be alive. They load up inside a car, excluding Tiny with some cryptic dialogue.
You sure about this? We'll come back for you.
Wait, what is he sure about? Why is he staying? And why is he walking into that burning house? This is Tiny Firefly's death, as the house blows up shortly after he re-enters it. Sadly, this was one of Matthew McGrory's final roles, as he passed away in 2005, just weeks after this movie was released. Rest in peace. Lynyrd Skynyrd's Freebird begins playing over shots of the highway the next morning for one of the most drawn out and infamous horror movie endings of the 21st century. Sure, the song is a classic, and the cinematography here is solid, but I still think it's a bit overwrought, especially with the happy-go-lucky footage that shows the Fireflies skipping around and giggling like they're on a summer vacay. Otis reaches a roadblock in the form of a heavily armed police presence, and we're given lots of slow-motion shots as the movie waits for the song's big chorus to arrive. In that time, the bloody Fireflies arm themselves to go out like Bonnie and Clyde. After what feels like forever, the tempo finally picks up and the gunfire erupts right as Alan Collins begins his legendary solo. Once again, Zombie wanted to avoid action movie cliches when it came to filming this finale.
I never wanted the violence to seem exciting.
That's why the Fireflies are shot all to hell in disorienting close-ups. Up until last year, I would have included them on the kill count, a fitting end for these rabid dogs to be put down by a firing squad. But instead, thanks to 3 from Hell, we'll just have to say that the movie ends with a near-fatal shootout and a few more freeze frames. How many people will the devil have to accept into or reject from hell? Let's find out and get to the numbers. "20 people died in the Devil's Rejects, with the dead consisting of 12 men and 8 women. That imbalance tends to happen when a bunch of the victims are cops. With a runtime of 111 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 5.55 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Jimmy, just because it was so sudden and upsetting, which is obviously what Rob Zombie was going for. Mission accomplished. Dull Machete for lamest kill will go to, I don't know, I guess one of the dead chicks in the beginning? Any of them, take your pick. And that's it. The Devil's Rejects came out in 2005 and got a sequel 14 years later with 3 from Hell. I'll look at that next week, but until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like Douglas Dean, Derek Hemmings, Samuel Gilbert, Jerry Gao, Jordan Lindsay, Ricardo Igareda, and Body Rot? I got this Matchbox on eBay. It's a promotional thing from when the movie came out in 2005. It's Charlie's Frontier Fun Town. It's so fucking cool. I love this. Be good people.